A minute to go in the round. How can you miss a punch over Foster's head? Tiger is down!
On May 24th, 1968, Bob Foster became the first boxing world champion to ever hail out of the state of New Mexico when he defeated Dick Tiger at Madison Square Garden with his patent left hook.
Champion of the world with a dynamite left hook that caught gallant Dick Tiger on the way in and floored him and knocked him out.
What is your name?
What is my name?
Your full name?
Bobby. Bobby Wayne Foster.
Bobby Wayne Foster.
Yeah.
And where were you born?
Well, really, I was born in Lubbock, Texas, but I came here when I was a kid, at 4 or 5 years old.
Now, all of the biographies, or most of them, say you were born in Albuquerque. Does that ever bother you?
No, it don't bother me. It do now, but it didn't then. You know, they're trying to say that Johnny Tapia put Albuquerque on the map. Well, I put Albuquerque on the map when Johnny Tapia was about maybe 3 or 4 years old, you know. Because when I moved back here in 1971, 71, yeah, I moved back in 71. Nobody from back east heard of Albuquerque, New Mexico. They thought you needed a passport to get here, you know. I said, no, Albuquerque, you don't need a passport. I said, you guys are thinking about Mexico City. You know, this is New Mexico. I said, you don't need no passport to come here. But everybody really thought that New Mexico that you needed a passport to come here, you know. So I just had to explain it to them that they didn't need a passport.
Yeah.
But they never heard of Albuquerque.
Yeah. What was it like growing up here? Now, what part of the city did you grow up in?
I was raised up in the South Valley. And it was nice growing up, you know. There wasn't as much racial stuff as it is now, man. This place is, it's terrible, you know. And we got along real good with the Spanish. Well, we call them Spanish, but I guess they prefer to be called Mexicans, you know. But I never did like to use that word Mexican, you know. It's just like using the word nigger as far as I'm concerned, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But because I always used Spanish, but we didn't have that racial stuff like it is now, man. It's bad. Mm-hmm. I wish I'd have stayed back east now, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as when you fought, it was at the height of the civil rights movement. So did that affect you much when you were in D.C. or when you traveled around?
Nah, that didn't bother me at all.
Mm-hmm.
No, you don't have that stuff. You didn't have that stuff back in D.C. then. Mm-hmm. And I was 17 years old when I got to D.C. because I joined the military at 17. And you didn't have, you walk into a restaurant and sit down and eat. They didn't tell you to go around to the back, you know. There wasn't no back doors then. But no, I really like D.C.
How did you first get involved with boxing?
Well, we had a guy named what we call him, Joe Louis Murphy. He was the leader of our little gang in the South Valley. We had a little gang. And he was a pretty good fighter, amateur fighter. And he used to train all of us, you know. Mm-hmm. And that's how I got involved in boxing. And because of him, you know, we all walked from the South Valley to the gym at 4th and Gold. Because we didn't have no cars or nothing, you know. So we'd all walk, you know. We was young kids, we'd either walk or run to the gym. It wouldn't make no difference to us, you know. Mm-hmm. And that's how I got involved in boxing. And I won the Golden Gloves there, and then went to Carlsbad and won the Nationals up there. And I just continued boxing until I joined the military. Mm-hmm. But I extended the year for the Olympics, for the 60 Olympics. So I didn't get discharged till 1960.
Okay. And in 1960, the light heavyweight representative for the United States in Rome was Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
That was something you didn't get. Were you pretty disappointed when you didn't get that nod to represent your country?
Oh yeah. I got upset because the trainer wanted to drop me down to middleweight. I couldn't make no middleweight. I was 6'3.5". At 175 pounds, I was skinny.
Yeah.
You know, so I called my trainer back at bowling, and I told the first, I said, these guys here want to drop me down to middleweight to fight in the Olympics. He said, you can't make no middleweight. That's what I tried to tell him. He said, well, forget about it. Come on back to the base, you know.
Yeah.
So he sent a plane for me to pick me up. And I flew back to the base. We was at Fort Dix, New Jersey training camp, you know. So he made arrangement for to send a plane to pick me up, take me back to Bowling Air Force Base, and I got discharged then, you know.
Yeah.
That's when I turned pro.
Throughout his career, Bob Foster would defend the light heavyweight title 14 times. In between those defenses, he would also make the move up to heavyweight to take on future legends such as Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali. Arguably, Foster's best year would come in 1972, where he would defeat Vicente Rondon to become the WBC, WBA, and the Ring Magazine light heavyweight champion. 2 months later, Foster would take on an undefeated 35-0 Mike Quarry and stop him via knockout in Las Vegas. 3 months later, Foster would face Chris Finnegan in Finnegan's hometown of London, England, in a fight that Ring Magazine would call the 1972 Fight of the Year. Foster would finish his career with a record of 56 wins, 8 losses, and 1 draw, 46 of his victories coming by way of knockout. In 1990, Foster would become one of the first fighters inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame.